without end requires a soldier without end.
Great! We're in position! Move out!
Blood, I'm excited about the Order 1886.
Good.
I wanted to see more gameplay from the werewolf scene. It seemed like long cinema, short little chance to defend yourself, longer cinema, even shorter chance to defend yourself. What did you see? How was it different from what I've seen?
Honestly, it was kind of just a bit longer. It still had that element of, you know, walk through here, you know, fight him off, he disappears, walk a little further, and then fight him off, and then here he is again. And then they kind of, and then there's a point where you meet up with one of the other people, and you're trying to, like, you know, clear a blockade from a door to get them to come in and help you or whatever, and then the Lycan shows up again, and then they kind of cut out of it. So if there's any kind of real fight that was about to happen, they just left that up to the imagination. So I definitely got the sense of a bit of a light gun game to that. You know, it's like, here comes the Lycan, shoot it, and if you don't shoot it enough times, then oh, you're dead, repeat. You know,
Seems kind of like Dead Space a little bit, where some of the boss fights were like struggle, 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 strategic opportunity, struggle, 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 shoot the shiny thing.
Right.
You know, where yeah, it's like there was that one thing where he charged at him in the hallway, and it's like, what if I happen to land 4 perfect headshots while it's chasing me? Is it still going to knock me through the window? Like, what's really the point of attacking that thing? Why don't I just let it attack me? Is it going to take off more health? So strategically that'll affect it. Visually, just a beautiful game. The style is so great and consistent. Definitely seems like a world I want to explore. A lot of the effects that I've seen with the weapons are pretty fun. You mentioned there were 2 different demos. So other than the Lycan, what else did you see?
So the other thing I actually played was a little bit of, it's kind of just like a street shootout, and it's interesting, but it also, like, it's probably one of the most disappointing things that I've seen from the Order, because you have a cool gun, and it's I think it's called like a thermite gun or a thermite rifle or something like that, and so it has 2 different shots. Like, one of them shoots like this gas, and it's like actually like a 3D thing that blows away in the wind, and that's just sort of the primer. And then you shoot like a flare into it, and that explodes. So you just kind of, you have to time it right, you have to get it in the right position, you know, and then shoot your flare, and then you basically burn all these guys alive. But the problem I had with it is that it felt like an older Call of Duty game where you just kind of get stuck in this point, and then, like, guys just keep, here's some guys on the right, oh, here's some guys on the left, oh, the guys are back on the right, the guys are back on, like what am I actually supposed to do to get these guys to just die, you know? And so it was kind of weird, because I just kind of felt like I was doing the same thing. And then you had like those moments where, like, you see the guys on fire with the exact same frames of animation next to each other. Yeah.
Oh, no, not in 8th gen. No. Yeah, that's too bad. I guess, yeah, it seems, it's kind of like the fear that people have with Alien Isolation, where it's just like this great atmospheric game, and yet when you, like, fight humans, it's like, oh, you know.
Yeah. And then there's some, like, there's some new things I didn't know, and then maybe they're not that new, but there's some things about the lore where, like, apparently these are like hundreds of years old.
And well, they can drink stuff that rejuvenates them.
Yeah,
I think that's interesting.
They're drinking this stuff called black water. And
I wouldn't drink that.
Yeah. So one of the guys gets grazed on the neck.
Yeah.
And he drinks the black water, and it heals. But in the meantime, there's like some dude like bleeding out on the floor, and I'm like, why can't they give it? And they're like, no, there's something special about them. You can't just give it to anyone. So, yeah, definitely, like, from a cinematic perspective, and, like, you know, like, just how much attention they put into, like, all the art assets and the research and everything for the period. It's really intriguing, but its gameplay has just been head scratching. And, like, I don't know that I'm going to enjoy playing this game, you know, rather than just watching it. And one of the funny things they brought up is that they're so big on making sure people realize that this is in-engine that their code can't even play a video file. There's nothing in their code that will allow them to play a video file.
That's overdoing it a little bit. That's something. Well, that is funny. That's something you would never know. They would have to tell you. Trust
Exactly,
me,
yeah.
it can't. We've tried it, and it just gives you a big wag of the finger. Yeah, if you try to play a video file. But I mean, it is exciting. It was exciing to see that cinema and see the Lycan transform, and then
knowing that it's real time,
you.
and growing all that hair and everything, yeah.
We were joking with one of the ladies at All Access when we saw that, and she was like, "Nope, I'm done." She's like, "That game looked like fun, but I'm not playing that now." Just because, yeah, it was kind of creepy and it is atmospheric. It looks dark. How's the world gonna work? I mean, is it mostly linear? Do you think story-wise? I mean, I know you're playing these segmented games, but
it feels like a linear story-based game. You know, just going through the corridors and whatever chapter that you're in. Yeah, I will say that the Lycan talking to you and being, you know, like, because generally like werewolves, like once they're transformed, they're just like all monster. Yeah. But then they're like just like look you in the eye and like tell you that you're pathetic or whatever, you know. But it's like that's like another level of creepy factor on there, because there's so many times like in horror games, the monster is never intelligent. Zombies are never intelligent, right? You know.
But just a heads up, Blood, if you're ever in a future gothic 1800s London and you have steampunk weapons in an old building and someone is chewing on a corpse and then stands up and starts to disjoint their bones, just open fire. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it at that point. You know, he just had a lot of really good opportunities for headshots, but kind of reminds me of something like Metal Gear Solid 4, again, where there's so many moments where I'm just like, or like Mass Effect, where it's like, I want to play this. This looks like fun. I wish I could defend myself there. Or I was curious how weapons work, because it kind of looks like they restrain what weapons you have, because he like loses his weapon when he's fighting the Lycan. Like, is there any leveling up of weapons or anything? Can you bring different weapons? We were talking about it being linear. Like, is it just like, here's this level, here are your weapons?
I mean, it felt to me like I didn't push every button on the controller to see if I could switch weapons.
What?
But it felt to me like it was very, you know, like they wanted me to use that weapon and see how that weapon worked. And then there was like another part where it was like, you know, helping the guy up, and then like you had your sidearm. And there's something like what do they call it, black vision or something like that with the black sight. So where like it's almost kind of like the Max Payne slow mo, where like you know you can sort of, you know, get like this augmented, you know, headshots or weakness shots and that kind of thing. But that's only after you build up some kind of meter or whatever.
But it was creepy. I think that's like people are hoping for that. They want some creepy. The first teaser we saw, very creepy.
Yeah, I think it's like there's a mix of, there's the action moments and then there's the creepy moments, so that you're not constantly in the same mood. Because yeah, the street brawl stuff, like there was nothing creepy about that at all. I mean, that was like a war scene.
And interesting, why do you think they showed that? Why do you think they're focusing on that? Just to show that it is a competent shooter that can hold up with something like a Gears?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about time they showed some just straight up gameplay that was not constantly interrupted by QuickTime events. So
yeah, I wonder if that'll be either or, if that's just kind of like a suggestion of like, these are our strongest moments when you have these monster encounters and when you have these big combat sequences. What do you think? Good? I mean, you excited?
It's weird to me because like I don't want to be down on this game. Like I've liked the concept of this game from the time it was first shown, but I feel like every time I see it, every new slice makes it feel weaker to me, and it's disappointing.
Exclusive PS4?
Yeah. It's Sony published, Sony's teams. Yeah.
Controls feel good? Feels good on that controller? And
they do some weird things. Like there's like one button to go into cover and then another button to go out of cover. And getting, again, because it's a 3D cloud that you're shooting, maybe that's not the best weapon to judge by, because it's, you know, it's like I felt like I was getting hung up on the foreground. It's like, no, I want to shoot the guys in the back, and then like the cloud to be like on the thing in the front. So yeah, maybe still a little bit of work there, but you know.
So what do you need? If the Order 1886 showed me blank, I would be more excited about it.
I think maybe
gameplay.
Well, more gameplay, but yeah, it's something that's just not just like shooting fish in a barrel type of thing. You know, like, okay, you know, what are some other interesting ways that I can use, you know, these weapons? You know, they showed a cutscene where he basically like, you know, used his round of ammo to like melt a barrier. You know, like if I can do that in game, and there's lots of opportunities to do that, then that's great. You know, same thing with, you know, some of the other weapons, like exploiting those more than just, you know, just in combat with a hiding behind a wall and shooting a bunch of guys.
In October for this?
No.
Maybe? No?
No,
Next
that's
year?
also February.
Oh, February. Okay.
Yeah.
Would seem like a classic October game.
It was October.
Oh.
It got pushed.
Well, at least we'll get Alien Isolation in October if we want to play something creepy.
And Evil Within.
And Evil Within, yeah. Got some fun horror games. Lots of horror. Hunt the Gilded Age. Lots of Bloodborne. There was that weird trailer where the guy had like chains on his face and got shot or something. It was just a lot of blood spillage at this year's E3, but I guess that's always expected. Thank you so much for chatting about The Order.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't wait to hear more.